The streets of Huntsville have been buzzing once again. It seems that every few months, the same cycle returns: rumors, accusations, court documents, and confusion surrounding Martell Holt and his ongoing custody battle with his ex-wife, Melody Shari. And this time, the talk has reached another level. Word started spreading fast across social media that Martell Holt had lost custody of his children. Pages began reposting it, fans started debating, and people were ready to crown Melody as the official full-time custodian of their 4 kids. But as it turns out, those rumors are not true. Martell Holt did not lose custody of his children. This situation, like many others surrounding Martell, started with half-truths and online whispers. Someone allegedly got a hold of court documents, and before long, the internet ran wild with speculation. But when the real details came out, the story was far from what people had been saying. What really happened was a simple but serious misunderstanding about Martell's court obligations, his filming schedule, and his motion to delay court proceedings. Let's start from the beginning of how all this unfolded. Martell and Melody have been locked in a custody dispute for a long time. The two share 4 children together and have been trying to navigate co-parenting after a very public and painful divorce. Their marriage, once filled with ambition and dreams, collapsed under the weight of infidelity, pride, and years of unresolved tension. Ever since their split, both of them have found themselves not just in emotional battles but in ongoing legal ones. Recently, a new update came from their custody case in Madison County, Alabama. It was supposed to be a routine hearing, one that dealt with scheduling and progress toward trial. But Martell didn't show up. That immediately raised eyebrows. Fans started assuming the worst. Many thought his absence meant something major had happened behind the scenes, that maybe the court had ruled against him, that perhaps Melody had won full custody. But the truth was far less dramatic than what social media made it out to be. Martell had filed a motion to continue, which means he asked the court to postpone the trial date. The reason he gave was tied to work, the filming schedule for Love and Marriage, Huntsville. According to the documents, he was required to be in Los Angeles from October 14 to 17, 2025. Those dates matched up with filming for the show's holiday special and reunion taping. In other words, Martell wasn't skipping court just for leisure or avoidance. He was trying to fulfill his work obligations, which also serve as part of his income. In the motion, Martell's team argued that since both he and Melody depend on the show for income, it made sense to reschedule. His filing even mentioned that there were no emergency issues pending in the case, meaning nothing was so urgent that it couldn't wait a little longer. The filing also suggested that extra time could help. Both sides attempt mediation, a calmer way to resolve their disputes before heading into another heated courtroom battle. But Melody wasn't on board with that plan. Her attorney immediately filed an objection to Martell's request. In her response, Melody made it clear that she opposed delaying the court proceedings. She said that Martell knew about his filming schedule long before and could have notified the court much earlier. She argued that there was no legal or compelling reason to delay the trial just because of his TV work. Melody's team pointed out that she had already made the necessary arrangements to appear in court, and any further delay would only drag things out and create more stress for her and the children. According to her objection, this case had already been pending for too long, and it was time to move forward. She didn't see Martell's filming obligations as an acceptable excuse. In the end, the court sided with Melody's objection. Martell's motion to continue the trial was denied. That meant he was legally required to appear. And because he didn't show up voluntarily, an order to appear was issued, a subpoena making it mandatory for him to attend. That's when the confusion exploded online. People saw the term "order to appear" and jumped to conclusions. They thought it meant Martell was in trouble, that he had been penalized, or even that he had lost custody of his children. But in reality, it was just the court making sure that both parties would be present moving forward. The problem with rumors like these is how quickly they spread before anyone checks the actual facts. Once one person says something dramatic, others repeat it without question. Suddenly, a routine court scheduling issue turns into a scandal about a father losing his rights. But according to the real documents, nothing of the sort happened. Martell's custody arrangement remains the same, a shared 50-50 custody between him and Melody. There has been no new ruling changing that. Now, it's true that Martell's legal situation hasn't been perfect. He's faced a lot of serious accusations and past legal challenges, including one case involving harassment and domestic violence communications. That's where things get complicated. Many fans remember when Martell was accused of sending intimate photos and videos of Melody as a form of revenge or harassment after their divorce. Those claims led to legal consequences that are still following him today. The report said Martell was convicted of harassing communications, which is different from domestic violence assault. He was sentenced to 30 days in jail, suspended, and placed on 12 months of monitored probation. He was also ordered to pay a fine and complete a domestic violence intervention program. However, he later appealed the conviction and entered a guilty plea to a reduced charge. In the end, it became more about harassment than a violent act. That's why when people heard new rumors about him losing custody, they were quick to believe it. Many thought it might be connected to his past legal trouble or his behavior on social media. But according to the latest updates, the custody status has not changed. Both Martell and Melody still share joint custody of their 4 kids. However, this doesn't mean their relationship has gotten any easier. The tension between them is still thick. Both have taken to social media several times, airing out frustrations and throwing subtle or not so subtle shade at one another. Melody has said that she's tired of being harassed, claiming that Martell still finds ways to upset or intimidate her even outside of court. She's even gone as far as hiring security, saying she no longer feels safe around him due to his temper and unpredictable behavior. Meanwhile, Martell has continued to deny any wrongdoing. He's often portrayed himself as the victim of an unfair narrative, saying that Melody exaggerates things to make him look bad. He's accused her of wanting attention, claiming she misses the spotlight that came with being part of the show. But when you look at the overall picture, it's clear that this custody battle isn't just about legal papers, it's about 2 people who still haven't found peace after their marriage collapsed. And right in the middle of it all are their children, innocent kids caught in the crossfire of adult conflict. Every time rumors like this spread, every time the internet twists their story, it affects them too. Because no matter what, those kids still have 2 parents they love. What makes this situation even more complex is how public it's become. Both Martell and Melody are reality TV stars. Their lives aren't just private matters, they're storylines. When a custody issue becomes part of the narrative for millions to watch, it adds pressure, judgment, and speculation that normal families don't face. And unfortunately, that public exposure feeds into the rumor mill. Adding even more fuel to the fire is the presence of Ariane Curry, Martell's longtime mistress and the mother of his youngest child. Every time drama brews between Martell and Melody, Ariane somehow finds herself dragged into the mess, either by her own words or by association. Around the same time these custody rumors began circulating, Ariane went off on social media again. She posted messages about being tired of being used as a storyline, claiming that the cast has made millions off her name over the years. She called out Marceau Scott directly, accusing him of being involved in inappropriate behavior, and demanded that certain parts of the reunion be edited out. In her post, she described explicit details about things she claims happened behind the scenes at a Huntsville establishment, showing once again how easily private conflicts spill into public gossip. Ariane's outburst came right as the reunion filming was taking place, the same filming Martell cited in his court motion. And that timing wasn't lost on fans. Many began speculating that everything was connected, that Martell's legal issues, the reunion drama, and Ariane's online meltdown were all intertwined. But once again, the truth is more procedural than scandalous. Martell simply wanted the court date moved so he could attend filming. When that request was denied, it had nothing to do with losing custody. Still, this situation reveals something deeper about how Martell's reputation has changed over the years. In the early days of love and marriage, Huntsville, Martell was seen as a confident, driven man, a businessman and family man who wanted to build an empire with his wife. But as the seasons passed and his affair with Ariane became public, that image shattered. The cheating, the lies, the tension between him and Melody, all of it played out on television for everyone to see. And ever since then, Martell has been fighting not only in court but also in the court of public opinion. So when a rumor like "Martell lost custody" starts spreading, it easily fits the narrative people already believe about him. They see it as another downfall in a long line of mistakes. But this time, it's important to set the record straight. Martell Holt did not lose custody of his children. The recent court update was about scheduling, not judgment. He still shares custody, and both parents are expected to continue co-parenting as ordered. Now, that doesn't mean the situation is perfect. Far from it. Co-parenting between Martell and Melody seems strained, at best. They've had multiple disputes about communication, visitation, and boundaries. At times, Melody has said she prefers to communicate only through legal channels, while Martell insists he wants to be more involved. Their differences are clear, and their wounds are deep. But regardless of personal feelings, the law remains neutral, and as of now, both have equal rights and responsibilities toward their children. This recent misunderstanding also highlights how easily misinformation spreads within the love and marriage, Huntsville community. It's a reminder to check the facts before running with a story. Every time something happens in court, fans rush to conclusions without reading the details. And that can harm reputations, escalate tensions, and create false narratives that linger long after the truth is revealed. Looking ahead, the real question is what will happen next in this custody case. Martell and Melody are scheduled to appear again in court later in the year, where they'll continue addressing unresolved matters. There's talk of mediation, possible adjustments to visitation, and ongoing discussions about expenses and child support. Nothing about this process is quick or simple, and given their history, it's likely to continue for some time. For now, though, one thing is clear: Martell still has custody. The children are not being removed from his care, and there has been no emergency ruling. The internet may twist things for clicks and comments. But the legal record tells a different story. Behind all the headlines and online chatter are two people still trying to find their footing after a very public divorce. The show might portray the drama, but off-camera, it's about real lives and real consequences. Melody continues to focus on her career and protecting her peace, while Martell appears to be juggling his role as a father, businessman, and reality star still trying to rebuild his image. Even though the rumors were false, this situation shows how fragile Martell's public standing has become. Every move he makes is watched closely, every rumor becomes a headline, and every court filing turns into speculation about his personal life. For a man already dealing with the consequences of his past actions, that kind of constant scrutiny can be exhausting. But at the same time, it's part of the world he built, one where fame, reality TV, and personal drama all blur together. The truth often gets buried under layers of gossip, screenshots, and social media commentary. But facts matter. And the fact here is simple: Martell Holt did not lose custody of his children. The court records confirm it. He remains an active parent with shared rights and responsibilities. And until the court says otherwise, that's not changing. Still, it's clear that this story is far from over. The custody battle continues, the tension remains, and the cameras will keep rolling. Because in Huntsville, every legal filing, every emotional outburst, and every rumor somehow finds its way back to the spotlight. As we've seen time and time again, Martell's choices have consequences, in his relationships, his reputation, and his role as a father. And while the rumors about custody loss are false, they do serve as a reminder that the public is watching closely. Every court update becomes a reflection of who he's become, a man trying to hold on to control in a situation where so much has already slipped away. In the end, maybe this entire misunderstanding can serve as a lesson, not just for Martell, but for everyone who watches the chaos unfold. Rumors can destroy, lies can spread faster than truth, and sometimes the quietest moments in court say more than the loudest voices online. So for now, the truth stands firm: Martell Holt did not lose custody of his children. The case continues, the battle continues, and the eyes of the public are still watching, waiting, and judging every move that comes next.